Welcome everyone to this evening's RNN Group webinar. My name is Lucy Farnwell. I'm the Director of Marketing for the RNN Group. I am absolutely delighted to be sharing a presentation on higher technical qualifications tonight with our amazing staff from Dearne Valley College campus and University Centre Rotherham. We have an expert panel here tonight to talk to you about health and all that you can achieve by considering coming onto a higher technical qualification here at RNN Group, Dearne Valley College, University Centre Rotherham. First of all, I'd like to introduce Deborah Adams. She is our Director of Campus for Dearne Valley College. Thank you, Deborah. I'd like to introduce Samantha Harrison. She is our Curriculum Team Leader for HE and Health and the Course Lead. And then I've got Jonathan Green, who is the Curriculum Team Lead for Access to HE, Higher Education and Counselling, and one of our lecturers. So welcome to this expert panel. You are welcome to put any of your questions in the chat function, which I will put to the panelists throughout the evening. And I will now hand over to Samantha Harrison to do the presentation on health higher technical qualification. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you for that, Lucy. Good evening, everybody. As Lucy just pointed out, my name is Samantha Harrison and I am the lead for the HTQ in health, which is run over two campuses, over at DVC and the UCR as well. So the main aim of today is to give you a little bit more information and guidance around the HTQ and what you can expect if you do choose to come and study this course with ourselves. So firstly, just to introduce the teaching team to you, which is of course myself and Jonathan Green that we have on here this evening. And we also have an industry skills coach, which is Eve Thompson, who sadly couldn't be with us this evening. And she is also our resident nurse. So she does a lot of the practical elements on the course in our amazing health suite that we have over at DVC as well. So these are the three main tutors that teach across both level 4 and level 5. So a lot of people are a little bit confused as to what a HTQ actually is. So it's a higher technical qualification. It's typically at level 4 and level 5. And essentially what it does is it provides people with the skills and the training that are needed for a very specific job role. And in this case, it's in health. So HTQs have been developed and it's a collaborative process by not only institutions that deliver, but also employers, awarding bodies. And essentially it's just to ensure that the learners are gaining the relevant skills that employers are wanting and looking for. It just enables that pathway and that natural progression into those areas. So they are classed as an alternative to an apprenticeship or a degree. And students can choose then to do a top up in a particular pathway should they choose to do that. And again, I'll take you through those as we progress through this presentation. In terms of entry criteria, what's outlined for this particular HTQ is 48 UCAS points or a full level 3 in health and social care. And you must have your GCSE English at grade 4 or C if you're going by the old gradings, and a GCSE math grade 3 or D. So looking around some of the suitability for this programme, we get a lot of people asking us from school leavers that have just done their A-levels to mature students that might have been working within the health and social care industry for a number of years as a HCA and wanting to upskill and asking, will this programme work for me? Will it get me where I want to be? And the answer is yes. So it's suitable for completely new individuals into health and social care. So if you are wanting to progress into that area, which we've seen a rise in since the COVID-19 pandemic, but also for sixth formers that have just left, existing assistants that work within the health and social care, whether that is in a trust setting or whether that's out in the community. So it's very broad in terms of suitability for those individuals that are wanting to progress or move up the ladder within health and social care. So just to give some background then into the role of the assistant practitioner, it's a recognised profession with higher level skills for healthcare assistants that is not as extensive as you would expect somebody to be looking at a registered nurse or one of the allied healthcare professionals. So ODP, operational department practitioner, physio, and so on and so forth. So it's been brought about in order to develop that role of the assistant practitioner. And I had the pleasure of working very closely with Sheffield Hallam University over the space of the last 18 months to develop this and develop all the units that are on there to ensure that people have got that right skill set and depth of knowledge in order to progress then onto either an allied healthcare profession or one of the nursing professions as well. So the scope of practice when we're thinking about assistant practitioners varies depending on not only the setting, but also the training that's given as well. Some areas will offer different levels of training in terms of medication and things like that, depending on whether you're working in primary or secondary or community health settings. So some of which assistant practitioners might perform tasks such as person-centred care, looking at vital signs and stats, admin work, and diagnostic assistance as well, but that has to be under supervision. And it works by increasing that skill set, like I said earlier. So just to give you an overview of the programme then, it is a higher technical qualification and it has been developed in collaboration with Sheffield Hallam University, all the college partners that deliver this particular qualification, different hospital trusts, private healthcare providers and voluntary sector organisations. And we all meet regularly and we have community of practice meetings. Each one of those representatives from all of those different areas, we meet together and we discuss things collectively about what specific skills employers are wanting and how we can kind of bridge that gap to ensure that our students have that necessary skill set. And the course itself does meet with the practitioner of apprenticeship standards. We do teach to the NMC as well, so the nursing standards are there. And we do, as of this year, also offer specialist routes in terms of allied health professionals, where individuals have the opportunity to tap into a pool of subject-specific knowledge, whether an individual's choosing to go down the ODP route, physio, occupational therapy. So it's excellent in terms of the knowledge that you would gain from studying this qualification with ourselves. So then in terms of delivery, we are really fortunate at the RNN group to have two outstanding campuses in which we deliver this particular programme from. One is the UCR, so the University Centre Rotherham, as Lucy said earlier. So this is a purpose-built HE facility in which our learners can come. They have the opportunity to have that theoretical discussion. It's where we apply that depth of knowledge and understanding, and we offer as well those discussion-led seminars, which we have so much positive feedback from our students from. But as well as that, over at the DVC campus, we have an absolutely amazing health suite, and it allows our students to be fully immersed in a high-spec ward in which they can go through with Eve some of the technical, practical skills that they would need in the areas that they're moving into. So our students get the best of both worlds. So they'll have a full day of that theory and that discussion, and then they'll be able to apply all of that directly over at DVC, which is amazing. We've had some excellent feedback from the students and they're really enjoying that experience. So some of the things that we have over at DVC in order to facilitate that is simulated learning experiences. So two of the ones that we have are Terry and Alex. So these are patient simulators. Deborah, I know you were very involved with bringing these on board. I don't know if there's anything that you want to add in particular to these.
Oh, hi, hi everybody, and thank you, Sam. Yes, you can see me smiling because this is just absolutely amazing. I'm really, really excited about the opportunities that the purpose-built facility is providing for learners. And yeah, Alex is absolutely, I can't put into words actually how phenomenal he is, but he's artificial intelligent. His chest rises and falls. We can set him to simulate blood pressure, pulse rates, and we can even hear sounds in the lungs that are simulating COPD or other diseases such as that you would find very difficult to experience on a ward during work placement or whilst at work. So it's great that we can actually simulate that there and then in that time zone for learners to actually experience it. So everything's recorded through his eyes. The pixels are absolutely phenomenal. And students then can actually critique or self-reflect or evaluate their own practice. So yeah, he's great. And also Terry, she weighs about 10.5 stone, so she simulates that moving and handling and that patient care. She's arthritic, so she's got very stiff joints and she's hard to mobilize. And then she's got different stoma sites for learners to practice on. So yeah, that's just one of the well, two of the fantastic additional resources that learners will experience. So thank you, Sam.
Absolutely, thank you for that, Deborah. One of the things in recent weeks that students have fed back is the scenarios that Eve, our nurse, has set with these two particular simulated learning experiences. And it's been absolutely amazing for them to be immersed in those real life interactions. So yeah, excellent feedback so far. And we're very fortunate to have those facilities over at DVC. Some of the other facilities that we have there as well are real life forms. So we can utilise them for advanced venipuncture and injection of the arm at different sites, which again, students have found absolutely outstanding, and the feedback has been so positive. It's very realistic. Eve does an amazing job at ensuring that it is. And everything has been mapped to the spec of that of an NHS trust, which is outstanding. And then we also have the male and female catheterization simulators, which is one of the things that you would be upskilled as under an assistant practitioner. So to be able to practice those techniques is absolutely amazing for our students. So in terms of progression then, the assistant practitioner programme serves essentially as a stepping stone for certain students that want to progress into specific areas. So there are, which is the beautiful thing about this particular programme, 3 routes in which a student can choose to pursue if they wish to. So firstly, they can spend a year with us, gaining all of that real life experience in our simulated suites, having the speciality lectures and seminars from our staff as well. And with the support of us, after 12 months, they can step off with their certificate in higher education, and we will support them to apply directly then with typically Sheffield Hallam University. And this is very important for those students that are looking for a career in paramedic science specifically, or midwifery, as they don't accept direct entry onto year 2, which I'll come on to in a minute. So for those students, it's imperative that they have that opportunity to step off, which obviously we do for our students. After the second year, so the second route that you can take is by staying with ourselves for 2 years. And then you can do what's called a direct entry with Sheffield Hallam, in which you can progress onto year 2 of either adult nursing, mental health nursing, in some cases, paramedic science as well, but there needs to be a merit. Also social work, occupational therapy, physiotherapy. So it's an excellent opportunity for students to have 2 years with us, and then go off and have their 2 years with Sheffield Hallam, in which they do their larger placement blocks, and they acquire the full skill sets that they needed in order to be signed off for that full degree. So the third route that some of our students choose to take as well is they will stay with us and do a full 2 years, but then they will do the top up with Sheffield Hallam. So they'll do a 1 year top up in health and social care practice. And then quite often we have had students in previous years that have completed those 2 years with us, successfully completed their top up and gained their BSc, and then decided, after they've had all that experience in the different areas within health and social care, that they want to progress then or specify in a certain role. So they've then gone on to do their masters in either social work or nursing. So what we have as part of the RNN group is it's really special because we offer so many different pathways for our students, and we really help support them in what's best for them. And I think that's one of the favourite things about my job and what I get to do with our students. So in terms of modules, at level 4, so I'll take you through level 4 first, and then we'll cover level 5. So at level 4, we have a transition to higher education. I know, Jonathan, you currently teach that. So do you want to tell us a little bit about transition to HE?
Absolutely, yeah. So good evening, everybody. So transition to higher education is one of our 20 credit modules that's delivered in the first semester. And introduces you into the stages of the research process and research appraisal for evidence-based practice. So it's designed to help support your transition into higher education, enabling you to become an autonomous lifelong learner. So yeah, that's very much that one in a nutshell, Sam.
Do you want to do essential sciences? Because I know you deliver that one as well, Jonathan.
Yeah, so after we finish transition to higher education, in semester 2, we then move on to essential sciences. So that introduces you again into the core biological, psychological and social sciences, and principles that underpin person-centered care. So we look at the foundations of anatomy and physiology, psychology and mental health, and how we can apply those to real life individuals with given conditions. Where we can, we use and we'll be using the biomedical laboratory to look at dissection of organs and how that can be applied into our practice as well to make it more realistic to what may be experienced.
Perfect, thank you, Jonathan. The final 2 modules that you'll cover at level 4 are IHAD, and we use IHAD quite freely because its full name is quite a mouthful, but it's the Integrated Holistic Assessment and Delivery of Health and Social Care Interventions. And this essentially it ties in with the work-based learning and their work placement, because we ask students to look at one of their service users and recognise a way in which they could support and develop them in an area that they are struggling with. And they do this and they put this into practice, and through motivational interviewing, they will come up with a holistic assessment, and they will then implement this with that service user. This then gets done over a period of weeks and then is evaluated, and the student will present all this to myself, because I'm the one that delivers the unit. They will present their findings, they will offer evaluative feedback, feedback from other people within the service users' lives, the service users' feedback as well, and how useful that they've found this, and implementation for what they're going to be doing moving forward as well, and what's worked really well and what they're going to continue doing. And then we have work-based learning. So this is covered over both semester 1 and semester 2. And as part of this, our students are required to complete 200 hours of work placement. So you get supported through this. You will receive a work placement document, which is gone through in depth with you by the lecturers and what that expectation is. So you can go to your work placement supervisor and you can navigate them through that document as well. And all of your hours are collected over the course of the academic year, and you are assessed against a particular set of proficiencies and signed off on those by your work placement supervisor. The really positive thing about this particular unit is a lot of students that come to us, like I said, they're already working in the health and social care sector. So the majority of them are already doing this job. So we allow those to use those paid hours for their work placement. It alleviates a lot of pressure on the student of having to complete an additional placement on top of the hours that they already work and a full-time course as well. We've had some really positive experiences with it. Some that are already working in the health and social care sector have decided to kind of branch off and get some experience in a different sector, which is absolutely fantastic. So whichever way a student is wanting to navigate work-based learning, we can support them through that. And then looking at the modules that are delivered at level 5, so we look at the transition to professional practice. So this is like a reflective portfolio as well, where students look at how they've developed over the course of the year and apply the theoretical frameworks that are relevant to that and look at considerations for future practice. Leadership and management, which I know, Jonathan, you deliver on, if you want to touch on that.
Yeah, so the leadership management modules, 20 credit module, and aims to introduce students into leading and managing and developing those skills which you may not think that you would be using straight away, but it's things that you can apply in practice and prepare you for future leading and managing in the workplace, whether it's in lower, middle or higher management. We try and do activities that are practical based. So we have an amazing low ropes facility at Dearne Valley College. And when we do deliver that module next year for our current year 1 HTQ learners, that we'll be able to embed that and look at leadership in different scenarios and contexts. So yeah, that's that one.
Absolutely, thank you, Jonathan. We then have Promoting Health, Wellbeing and Independence, which I deliver. That's a 40 credit module, and this essentially is allowing a student to look at Public Health England, look at their local demographics, looking at the people that they currently work with, and previous health promotions that have been passed down from central to local government and that are filtered through their local communities, and looking at what they could introduce. So the year 2s for the last 3 years, I would say, have had some absolutely outstanding examples of health promotion. So much so, one of my students last year that works in the colonoscopy department at Rotherham Hospital actually had their particular health promotion filtered through the trust, and it now runs as an actual health promotion, which is absolutely amazing. It's vital for our students to understand the areas in which they currently work in, and looking at ways in which they can support those patients that they're working with day in and day out, and to have that recognised by a trust is absolutely amazing. And secondly, the second work-based learning module that we have in year 2 as well works on exactly the same principle as the work-based learning 1, where our students are tasked with completing 200 hours of work placement. So I mentioned earlier about the students that are doing direct entry into year 2 of a particular course. So as well as the completion of their 200 hours as part of work-based learning, they would complete a separate document which is agreed individually once they get a place with Sheffield Hallam between the student and Sheffield Hallam University for them to complete their RPL, which is an additional set of hours, and 160 of which have to be signed off by a registered nurse. We have quite a large volume of students that go through this process every year. without much issue. Again, like I said, because a lot of our students already work in that health and social care setting, and have got really good relationships with nurses on staff and their work placement supervisors. Has anybody got any questions?
Thank you very much. I have got a few questions actually to pose to the panel. I hope that's okay. Quite a few actually, quite a varied amount of questions as well. So I'm going to start off with the first question. One person has asked, is this a course that I can do around my work commitments and family commitments?
Yes, absolutely. So as I said earlier, the course that we run, this HTQ, is classed as a full-time foundation degree programme, and it runs across 2 days. So 98% of our students have families and they have work commitments. And one of the really positive things about this course is that we allow those students that are already working in the sector to use that work as their work placement hours. So it is exceptionally doable, yes.
That is fantastic. That's great to know. I think a lot of people will be relieved because, you know, a lot of people want to go into education, but they still have to work and they have to live. So that's fantastic. Is it all in university, in Dearne Valley College and in University of Rotherham, or is there some online options too?
So typically speaking, when we are going through taught content, I think it's essential for students to be in and in front of their lecturers. And one of the main reasons for this is there's only so much that is ever on a slide, and it relies a lot on opening that up to discussion. And one of the most positive things that I found lecturing over the years is being able to have students in front of you and offer them some real life explanations when you're trying to deliver something. They find it easier to digest that knowledge and information if you can relate it to a real life scenario. So being able to have that open discussion, I think, is really important. There are some instances where we will have a hybrid delivery model where if students, when students have their tutorials, because of family and work commitments, both myself and Jonathan are quite happy to do those online for students. So there are certain instances where that is the case, and we do try to facilitate if there is an issue. We all understand what it is to have family and family commitments. So if there is an issue, we will, wherever we can, try to facilitate that so they don't miss out on any learning.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Someone's asked, can I start this course in January, or do you only have September entry for this higher technical qualification?
No, we are currently doing a January intake. So yes, we are currently interviewing and offering places for January 2025, just the same as we are for September 2025 as well. So both cohorts are still open, and we have a fantastic opportunity coming in January as well, where we are doing HE open event. So go on, Deborah.
I'm really sorry that took me a while to click off mute. But yes, we've got an afternoon tea event that's coming on the 9th of January, and it's 1:30 till 3:30. And we would love everybody, even if you've not applied yet, but you just want to come and explore and find out a bit more, or come and visit us, or look at our fantastic facilities. And have some tea with us and some cakes. You won't be disappointed, I can assure you. So that the afternoon tea is about you being able to ask questions, come and get to know us, come and speak to the specialist tutors, and really sort of sample it before you try it, basically. So if you are interested, there will be an Eventbrite for you to book onto. But if you have problems with that, don't worry, just come on down to the Dearne Valley campus for 1:30, and we'd love to see you there. Thank you. Thanks, Sam.
Thank you, Deborah.
That is fantastic. Thank you. Someone has asked, I'm considering moving into the healthcare sector for an administration role in a local business. I really want to help and make a difference to people's lives. I have O levels. So for everyone who's not aware, O levels are GCSEs in English and math. What would I need to do next to sort of move into the healthcare sector?
Okay, so as this is a level 4 and level 5 qualification, part of the entry criteria, which is stipulated by the university, states that an individual must have a level 3 as well. So unless obviously the O levels or the GCSEs, that's fine, that is part of the entry criteria. But unless you have A levels, which equate to 48 UCAS points, or a level 3 in health and social care, we have been able to accept childcare as well, because a lot of the skill set transfers over. So SHU do allow us to accept a level 3 in childcare as well.
That's really good news, actually. That's really flexible. Thank you. Someone has asked, this is actually a good question for me because I don't know the difference, so you'll be able to help me. What are the difference between HTQs, HNCs, and HNDs? Good question, whoever answered that.
Okay, so sorry, Deborah, do you want to answer that?
I'm happy to jump in, and obviously colleagues, please come in as well. So in terms of what's the difference, the HTQ is a higher technical qualification, and basically it's about those technical skills that are sector skills, those sector skills demands. And so the difference is it's not just the qualification, it's far beyond the qualification. Yes, there is theory underpinning, absolutely, but it's about those technical, practical skills and applying those skills that the employers want, that the sector needs. And so that's the difference. It's preparing our learners for entry, like Sam in a fantastic presentation alluded to, that the learners are able to practice those clinical skills that are essential within those roles. So that's the difference between a HTQ, which is the qualification, but also a kite mark by the higher technical qualification. So you'll have, a wonderful logo and badge on your certificate. So it's endorsed by Sheffield Hallam University. You'll have the HTQ kite mark as well as that essential qualification, but those pinnacle essential skills. Now, the HNC, the Higher National Certificate, is really it's a level 4 qualification, so just on the same lines of the HTQ. It's still preparing learners for all those essential skills and knowledge and behaviours, and it still allows those learners to progress to level 5, which is called the Higher National Diploma, and will still allow entry into university for that top-up degree. However, these skills we do, our colleagues are fantastic at designing programs within their specialism, and so they always apply those skills and practical skills within the body of the qualification. But essentially, the HTQs are designed with employers, designed for those skills gaps, and prepares them for that. So I don't know whether I've missed anything, colleagues, if you want to come in and add at all.
No, I think that was very eloquently put, Deborah. Yeah, it's I concur with everything that Deborah's just said. They are just as useful. However, it's receiving that HTQ kite mark.
That's really helpful. I think the working with employers is the thing that I've really picked up on there, is the difference and the employer involvement to create these fantastic qualifications. So that's great, amazing, thank you. So someone's asked, what employer partnerships does Dearne Valley College have, and what other organisations that you currently work with for work placements? They'd be interested to know if we are able to name those organisations and partnerships.
So as it stands at the minute, we We advocate our students to source their own work placement. That's not something that we supply like you would have on a full degree course directly with Sheffield Hallam University. However, we do have links to a lot of different organisations and institutes. Our year 1 and some of our year 2 students this year attended a huge open event at Rotherham Hospital where they met with all of the different allied health professions. A few of them have been able to get amazing opportunities with working with district nurses, with occupational therapists, ODPs. We also have work placement officers that we can tap into to see if we have any in an area local to that student. We do have students that travel in some cases quite a distance to come and study with us, so it's important for us to look at if we can offer them some support and look at placements more local to their area. So yeah, and it is something that we are working on consistently and establishing stronger and better working relationships with other NHS trusts in our local area as well.
Fantastic, that's great. Two
Can I just
more
come?
questions.
Sorry, can I just come in there, Lucy?
Sorry. Please do, yes, of course.
So thanks, Sam. Although the HTQs, the High Technical Qualification, is new, a brand new qualification that commenced in September, and obviously we're hoping that everyone and more people that can view this later will be able to join us in January. But ultimately, the specialist teams have been delivering the level 4 and the level 5 qualifications for a number of years now. So it's well established, and through all of those cohorts over the years that we've delivered this, we've got established links with all of the employers, local employers, whether it's domiciliary care or residential care, day centres, or the Ardash or Rotherham Hospital, etc. So we've got well-established links, and obviously Samantha's mentioned about all of her weekly meets with Sheffield Hallam University and all the employees there. So we've got these well-established links that will support learners in that transition into work placement. But obviously some learners will have some, of their own personal goals and aims, and they might want to undertake a placement in a setting that's nearer to them or outside of those links that we've got. So we will support them to achieve that. Thank you.
Fantastic, that's great, thank you. Two final questions then. Firstly, I'll direct this one to you, Deborah, if you don't mind. Just what other HTQs does the group offer?
Thank you, Lucy. So we offer a range of HTQs. So the main one is for us tonight is health, but we also offer HTQs in construction. We have HTQs in engineering, and you've really put me on the spot here, Lucy. So I'm hoping I'm getting these right. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And I know that we've got developments in the future for cybersecurity in digital, and also future plans for animal management and behaviour, and also future plans for youth practitioner worker, which links to sport and public services because of that criminal justice side of it. And we also have it in early years and education as well. Have I missed any, Lucy?
That's brilliant, and that's really exciting to hear about the animal care side as well. That's fantastic. Good to hear about that. Thank you. So finally, quick fire round this one question is, if you could sum up in one sentence, each of you, why do an HTQ? Now is your chance to tell our audience quickly, why do an HTQ in health? I'll put that to Jonathan first, yes.
Yeah, it's a cost-effective way of learning new knowledge, skills and behaviours in a higher education environment local to hopefully where you live.
Brilliant. Thank you. Deborah.
Simple. Really, really simple. Basically, you're learning from the best. You're meeting Samantha, you're meeting Jonathan, and sadly, you've not been able to meet Eve tonight. But you know, these teams really value what they do, and they're really passionate about sharing their expertise with you. So I know that you'll have a fantastic learning experience if you join the HTQ with us. And also, just to let you know, for your information, there are other providers out there that charge significant fees to be able to study these levels. Our fees are nearly, that's 2,600 less than most local providers. So it's cost effective, Jonathan, you're right, but you're getting value for money. Just because it's cheaper, you are getting the best of the best. So that's from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. And Sam.
Thank you, Lucy. Again, I agree with both Jonathan and Deborah. And Deborah's very rightly said there are other providers in the local area that also deliver this programme. So why us? One, they haven't got a health suite like we have. It's absolutely outstanding. And if you come to the open event, you'll be able to see that for yourselves. And I cannot speak highly enough of the staff that teach on this particular course. The knowledge that they bring is second to none, and because it works, the success rate that we have of our students is exceptionally high. And if you look at some of the feedback and the testimonials of students that have studied in the last couple of years, what it's given them a sense of not only extrinsic, you know, reward that they've got from their degrees and they're in the careers that they want to, but also intrinsic and what it's done for them personally, and in turn what that does for us as well. So yeah, because it works.
Thank you. Fantastic summing up there, expert panel. Very impressed with all of that. It remains for me to wrap this webinar up. I just want to give you some options to come to Dearne Valley College and University Centre Rotherham. So just a reminder, you don't have to wait to the 9th of January. If you want to find out more, come just ring us or email us. You can ring us on 01709 513 355 or email us at learn@dearne-coll.ac.uk. And the teams will be there to organise a personal tour if you want, because you're excited by what you've heard tonight before the 20th December. So come and see us. Obviously, the 9th of January, our afternoon tea event between 1:30 and 3:30. If you want to think about it over the Christmas period and do some research online and then come and talk to us, please do that. And if you're still not sure, we do have a further open event on the 1st of February, the Saturday, the 1st of February, if you can't make the midweek on the 9th of January. So do come along to that. The next few webinars are actually our last webinar of 2024. This one is, and we move into 2025 with 3 in January. We have community courses for learners on the 7th of January, higher education in Rotherham on the 14th of January, and a special education and professional development higher education webinar on Thursday, the 16th of January. So as you can see from today, it's all higher education, really important. It remains for me to thank our incredible panel, Deborah, Jonathan and Sam. Thank you ever so much for your time tonight and explaining to our audience all about the health HTQ at Dearne Valley College and University Centre Rotherham. To you, the audience, for tuning in, thank you very much for your time. Have a wonderful evening and, more importantly, happy holidays and season's greetings from all of us at the RNN Group. Thank you very much. Thank you.